efficiency is more of a model of technology. The hog industry's gotten left off the stage up here. Parallel between the contracts that were offered to the hog industry in the early part of the 90s and what happened in the next about 7 or 8 years are a good lesson that maybe we should take into account here for the cattle industry. But to say that the larger integrated operators are more efficient, the same technology is available to them as it was available to the hog producer with 200 sows and 300 sows. He adopted them too. It was nothing putting them out of business except for the market power. It wasn't anything that would be less efficient, because on the other hand, they were probably more efficient. I know hog operators that would you know, what we call free labor. Family labor is not paid the same as the guy that's getting W-2 from you at the end of the year. So don't confuse efficiencies with the integrated model.
Well, to me, these hot button issues are really not about efficiency. There's often that spin on it. It's not about efficiency, it's about market power. And in economics, we like to see a balance of economic power, and if you have 3 facing 3, that's probably a whole lot better than 3 facing 30,000. So you need to balance out the economic power to have aggregate economic efficiency.
Can I ask another question?
Certainly.
We talked about various sweetheart deals, especially in the cattle industry. How many of them are there? And how many cattle are represented?
I'll mention for the poultry industry, and then I'll let Mike take this. It's a public record in SEC documents that Bo Pilgrim had his own farms, and he had some really nice contracts for himself that were never offered to growers. Moreover, sweetheart deals are so well known in the poultry industry that there's a 200 and some page IRS training manual that's just on sweetheart deals in the poultry industry, where insiders and executives were allowed to buy feed and birds without the growers ever knowing it. They were placed out in their houses, and then they were processed, and the insiders were paid for that. That manual shows a lot of, and this manual's like 10 years old, a lot of sweetheart deals.
Les, this is Mike Callicrate again. David Domina is really the person to answer that question. He deposed the people who actually know that answer, like the head buyer for IBP, Bruce Bass, when he said he had 1,200 different deals with suppliers of cattle to IBP, and none of them in writing. All of them supposedly different. Who was going to remember that? And of course, that was useful in the deposition and discovery, because he didn't have to produce the actual documents where these were written down. But I can tell you that in discovery, in the IBP case, the Pickett versus IBP case, there was one document that landed on my desk in St. Francis, Kansas. It was a settlement sheet from IBP to Willard Sparks at Cattle Co. for cattle that he had sent to IBP. And when you calculated up the difference in what Willard Sparks got that day for those cattle and what I was offered for my cash cattle in that same week, it was $135 a head preference given to Willard Sparks with Cattle Co. And that's Sparks Commodities, the guys that do a lot of the studies for the meat packers in their analysis that they do.